What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Lakeshow Talk Show. It's me, Dominic. I'm here with Chris, Josie.
What to do, baby?
We're about to get into it through the Jordan series that just happened. You know, a lot of exciting stuff. The Dream Team, everything going on. You know, let's get right into it with something very controversial, I think. And Josie, let's start off with you. What's your take on Jordan's inability to, speak out more publicly than you would want him to have? You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I think that's one of the topics that stood out to me the most from both episodes, and something that I've heard before. I didn't really quite understand or know to the extent of which he was unwilling, or just didn't care to accept the responsibility of his stardom, of just the figure that he was, the role model he was expected to be. I do appreciate that he stayed his ground in the documentary. He said he never intended to be a role model. He just wanted to be a ball player, right? That's his thing. Was his sole focus was winning, right? And it was with basketball. I can respect that. But when he's doing other things like out gambling and caring about golf so much, like those things aren't basketball. Like he put so much time into golf, into gambling. You tell me you can't do one thing for the Black community when they needed him? Uh, I think that's absolutely wrong. Um, I understand that he didn't want to be a role model necessarily. That's never what he intended to be. But I think we can all appreciate that quote from that Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility.
Uncle Ben.
Yeah, Uncle Ben said it best. Sometimes we as people, we don't want those things. We don't want that responsibility, right? But because of what we do or what we become, it's just thrown at us. You might not want it. You might not want the responsibility of a kid. When you have one, you might not be ready for it, but you have to assume it. And I think with him, the whole world looked at him. He was a hero to everybody. Maybe he didn't care to be a hero, but he was. He was a voice. He was the biggest star in the world at the time. And one more thing, he was Black. He is, and he made it. Yeah, but a lot of his people hadn't. A lot of his people were struggling. There was still no Black senator in Congress. And the other guy that was running against and that hopeful was a guy that was against, like, publicly was racist. And we all heard the quote, MJ
and
says,
it's his hometown too.
yeah, his hometown. And MJ says that the Republicans buy sneakers too. We've all heard it. So it's not just that he cared just about balling and about winning. He cared about his money. Maybe he cared about his money more than he cared about his people. And I think that's where the problem is. No one's questioning his basketball greatness. No one is. I'm not questioning that. I'm questioning his integrity as a person and as a Black man. And I think others have also, right? It's unbelievable to me. And it's not the only time that I think that he that he let go of that responsibility to his people. And it just showed it wasn't just him winning basketball. I think there's also a side of Michael Jordan that was greedy. Another instance I think we've talked about is with Pippen and his money. Without Pippen, he wouldn't have won those rings. He could have helped. He could have been a voice. He could have helped Pippen get his money, and he didn't. He just cared about making his own money. So I think when we look at Jordan many, many years from now, say there's another basketball player that comes along a couple decades from now, that basketball player wins 7, 8 straight, right? Never loses in the finals, like Jordan. Puts up those great numbers. He'll be the new GOAT, right? In people's eyes in the future. What will we remember MJ for? He'll get passed. We don't remember Bill Russell as we remember MJ. But I think if MJ would have risen up to the occasion, would remember MJ more than just for basketball. Because at this point right now, we're only remember MJ for basketball. And that's all we'll remember him for. When LeBron is done with his career, we'll always wonder, depending on where he ends up, was he the greatest? Was he not the greatest? What we won't wonder, though, and what we'll appreciate about him, and but LeBron's legacy will be more than just basketball.
Right. He did a lot off the court.
Yeah. He has that school in Ohio. He's spoken up against Trump. He's done things here and there. Has he slipped up a couple times? Yes. But he's tried his best. And I think everybody can appreciate that about him. So beyond basketball, I think that is one thing, that moment in history where MJ could have solidified his legacy more, and he didn't.
What you think? What's your take on this, Briss?
So let me piggyback off right that point where you just said about his famous Republicans buy shoes as well, right? So we have to think of the situation where he gave that quote, right? Are you really going to take that quote where he's on a bus after a game with his teammates, probably just joking around, having fun, trying to enjoy himself on a bus, going back to the hotel, and somebody asked him a political question, right? Something where you're not used to. You're used to just, how was the game, da-da-da, or along those lines of, and you just throw out something like, just a joking line. And that's the way I took it, right? It's something off the cuff.
Yeah, of course we all joke. I've made crude jokes before. We all do. I get that, right? But about something that serious, like,
how does he know?
How does he not know? He's a black man.
In that moment,
nobody's been senator before for the black community.
Right, but
how does he not know the significance of that?
The way he's explained it is like, look, he hasn't been to his hometown and stayed there and played there since before college, right? He's been in Chicago. I mean, he's literally living, eating, sleeping basketball. That's literally all his focus, right?
Oh.
Is that, and that's his Nike deal.
He's got the golf. He's got the gambling.
Hold on. You're gonna talk about golf and gambling, right? But that's his escape, right? He has these media all over him 24/7. Wouldn't you want to escape from that too? I mean, literally, these guys are in front of his face with the camera 24/7 wanting to question, right? He's on a schedule. I mean, I'd be tired of it. I mean, these questions that they ask are pretty much dumb most of the time. Are they not?
Yeah, and they're repetitive. I agree with you, and I think at another point in the documentary, like, we feel for MJ, and at the point he is, the elite level he is, and all the attention he gets, it's undesirable, really. He can't leave his hotel room, right? He says that. I understand that. I get that he needs other things. I'm not judging him on doing those things. I'm judging him on not taking one day to go and endorse this guy. Just one day. Just do an ad with him. Just go meet with him.
All right, his mom wanted to do it too.
Yeah, the mom wanted to do it, and he discouraged his mom from doing it.
No.
It would have been one day.
Right, but he did give a contribution, did he not? He gave a contribution.
So he said.
And that's what he said he felt was all he needed to do. Right?
No.
You can't ask the guy to do more than what.
No, he wanted to put that money so you couldn't see his face next to that guy. Because putting the money there was like, okay, he relieves himself of that guilt. And he feels like he helped out. But then he escapes, like, not being seen in that spotlight. Because that would negatively affect, or he thought it could negatively affect the sales of his shoes.
Right. I think Obama said it pretty great in the series. You would have wished Jordan to stepped up more, but then at the same time, he's also trying to figure out how he's supposed to handle all of this this stardom. But he said it pretty good. But to me, I think Jordan was kind of selfish in his own way. Because I mean, I'm back and forth. I don't know what to believe, but I look at the it was like a political statement he made at the Olympics, right? With the Reebok sign, how he wanted to cover it. So, and that was mainly for himself. So he's selfish. Like he didn't want to. I mean, everyone has their right, just like you said. Well, the earlier episode we did with Jalen Green, you have your right to go out and get your money, do what you want to do. So yeah, Jordan has his right to speak or not speak if he chooses so. But he's selfish. He makes his political statements for himself, but he doesn't want to go out and fight for others. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, he's making public statements, and I don't see why he couldn't do this.
Yeah, I mean, you just put it best, right? And like I wasn't even thinking of that, but you just said it, right? And the Olympics, he made that statement, and people in the news were talking about it at that time. So he was fine making that type of statement about a freaking brand, and he wouldn't make a statement about his to support his people in some way. Honestly, that's abhorrent. That's disgusting to me.
Yeah, and not only that, he's selling his Jordans, but like your name is the brand. Like it's not just basketball. It's if people don't like that you're a gambling addict or whatever, this and that, then they wouldn't want to buy your shoes. But he thinks it's just about basketball and that's it. No, your name is a brand, so you're considered a role model, and you want to be a great public figure because you're making sales off your name.
Yeah, but like you said, right? Like Obama said, he was trying to find a way. I can appreciate that he was trying to find his way, but when you make a statement like that in the Olympics, or when people start finding out that you're like just gambling thousands of dollars on games of golf and stuff, like that doesn't look too good. Like, you know, if you're just trying to focus on basketball and do you, I understand that, but and you can't help the people, like you're too busy. I get that, okay? You know, try and figure stuff out on your own. But when you're wasting all this money, all this time on this, on something so like insignificant, it doesn't validate what you're saying. And I get it. He was young at the time, but you know who was also young in the spotlight, at a younger age than MJ? LeBron.
Right.
At high school, you know, he was on the biggest spotlight. Everybody was watching him. ESPN had games on him. This before social media too.
Yeah, it's just you can't really put it on social media. Everybody has a voice, but no, this was before all that. LeBron was out doing it.
Yeah, when he was 16, 17 years old, he was handling the media well. He's handled the media well his whole career. So,
and for the most part, Jordan hasn't really been a public person to come out and speak. You know, like he doesn't like doing interviews, this and that. So, I mean, him and LeBron are different persons in that kind of way. But when you're the top NBA player in the world, like a very public figure, you know, people would kind of want you to do more, use your voice,
yeah,
use
like
your platform.
yeah, when you're the top athlete in the world, he was a top athlete in the world. He was world renowned even before the NBA was huge in any other country. You know, he's the guy that led to the expansion of the league. Yeah, and like I said, some people can handle it and some people cannot. When I'm not talking basketball right now, I'm just talking about who they are, like the legacy as a person. And I'm telling you that legacy is greater with LeBron and not with MJ, because MJ could not step up at the time, and not that he's really stepped up since he's gotten older either.
So let's put this into perspective, right? That let's say, right, you feel that certain people in this cosmic world are able to do certain things for a certain reason, right? They have their purpose, right? And they feel their purpose, but you can only expect from them what they know and what they can do. And I think that's what happened in MJ, right? Is that his purpose he felt and that he knew he could follow through with was just basketball or marketing or, let's say, trying to get the most out of himself for his future, for money wise, for financials. And that's all he could do. I mean, maybe he felt like I should not take that step into political fields that I cannot have a backup for. I can't give a stance on. I think that's where he caught himself, and that's why he just gave the responses he gave.
mean, we can keep talking about this, but we're not going to go anywhere with it. He made the decisions he made. I think he could have done more. I see your point. He did what he did, right? So, but I think if we're comparing players, not only like if we're looking at their legacies, we also have to look at the decisions that they made. So that's what it is for me.
Yeah, I mean the past is the past now. Uh, it's what's done is done, but we still everyone still has their different views on it and different opinions. I personally think he could have did a little bit more, but then also everybody's their own man, their own person. You didn't necessarily have to. I mean, there is a lot of pressure of being a role model, I guess, and being a big athlete.
Yeah.
But let's switch it up. There was a lot of questions on that, like if he has a problem. I don't know if you guys want to get in, or you want me to take this, or what.
You go ahead and start off with that.
All right. Well, my thing is it talks a little bit about it, and Jordan says that he did the interview, right, with the shades on, says he doesn't have a problem, and it's just competitive. I think he does, my opinion, and I think he's an addict. Like, even though he made lots of money, but I mean, I did some homework, a little bit of homework, you guys. All right, let me pull it out. So, and there's people who wrote books on him. There's people who wrote books. Michael Jordan, The Life by it came out in 2014. There's a letter he wrote that his high school prom date, that he was very happy that she paid him a bet he won against her. So he's happy about doing bets. There's another one in college where a student from UNC received a $5 check from Michael Jordan from playing pool. And it's also rumored that Jordan used to gamble with the team and the coaches at the college. And so there's a lot of gambling. I think he just loved to gamble, but it starts getting more and more as he starts making more money, right? So there's the golf gambling. There's the Atlantic City, the casino they talked about in the Eastern Conference Finals. Well, I found out that I read a little bit about it. That wasn't the first time he's been to Atlantic City. Like, he's been to Atlantic City multiple times in the postseason. So he really likes to go gamble. And so we can't really say that it's just competitiveness, him betting on himself. He actually likes to go, and, when you're going to a casino, it's like a risk, you don't know if you're going to win or not. You can't really rig it. But there's also things, and this is the part where I think he has a problem. He rigs games to win gambling. There's a story, I think, from the Dream Team when they're coming back. He bets the players, I bet you my luggage will be here first. And it's rumored, I guess he came out, I don't know this, I read it, that he came out and said that he bribed airport security to put his bag out there first so he can win the bet. I mean, and there's also there's another one. Oh, the Jumbotron during the Bulls games, they have like little games, cartoon games or whatever, like this and that. And it's rumored from Scottie Pippen said this on The Jump, like before the series came out. Rachel, what's her name? Rachel Nichols, I think. Yeah. She interviewed Pippen and Kerr. Pippen said publicly on there that throughout the game on the Jumbotron, they played these games, and Jordan knew from the arena people, it was pre-recorded, he knew the answers, and he would bet with the security guard knowing the answer. So and he was winning money from him. I think Pippen said he won up to like $4,100 or some sort like that. So I'm like, to me, that's a problem. If you're gambling like that and you're cheating too, just to take people's money.
If you're gambling about everything, like
right.
everything and anything, I think it's like you said, it's about like that risk or that high that you get off of like you could win, you could lose. There's a little high you get.
Right. At first, I shook it off. I was like, no, he's just more competitive, and he just does it for fun. I don't know, but I got into it. And then in 2007, he actually gambled in Vegas with Pac-Man Jones at the time. And Pac-Man Jones came out saying he lost like he was playing craps on the tables, lost like $5 million.
Damn.
So I mean, to him, you know, he's probably making a lot. He's making a lot of money at that point. But still, $5 million, that's a lot.
Mhm.
Could be chump change to him, but to me, I think he just he said he loves to gamble, but I think it's kind of a problem. It's not serious because I mean, obviously he's so rich.
Yeah, he said he doesn't have a gambling problem. He said it was a hobby, but he didn't have a gambling. He wasn't a gambling addict, and
Right.
it sounds like he was a gambling addict.
Yes.
I don't think so. And I'll tell you why. Right, you give a very good point, right? I didn't know most of that stuff. But I'll tell you what, right?
'Cause I did my homework.
Hey, I do my homework on a lot of things, all right? But let me give this point, right? It gives him joy, right? But is he to the point where he's losing his mind and self-harming himself by doing these things? I don't think so, right? Like he said in the documentary, his family was in good shape. He had a roof over his head. I mean, there wasn't things where like he was putting at risk that would ruin his life, if that makes sense. He wasn't giving away rings. He wasn't gambling watches. But I mean, we all would do it, right? Where a game we play, right, which was golf for him, where or like for us would be like a horse. You put $20 on it. In our like if me, Josie, and you went to go play horse, put $20 on it, right? That's just our little bit of gambling, right? One
No,
of us wins.
but the three of us could go play horse and just play horse.
Right. If you want to be competitive, just be competitive.
You can still be competitive and not put money on it. And I get if you put money on it once in a while, you're talking trash amongst each other, right? And like put some money on it, right? But every single time you play, you got to put money on it.
Why not?
You got a problem.
I get what you're saying, Briss. Like if it was more of an issue, you know, he'd be losing like $50 million, close to $1 billion. You know, if he was because he had that much money, right? I
Hey,
get
5
what you're saying.
million is still hey, 5 million is a shit.
But my
But
whole
for
thing is like
him,
when you're
though-
cheating, when you're cheating, you know these answers and you're bribing people to win, and that's when I think it's more of a problem.
Yeah.
I think that's just a personality thing, though, because we know people that it could be something that's not worth money, and they do the same exact thing, would they not? I mean, I know two people right off the bat that I've met in my lifetime, but
To me, that speaks a lot about his more of a competitiveness. How he says he's a competitive person. Well, I mean, it's like, well, man, you're cheating sometimes. Like now, it's making me think about other things.
That's not even being competitive there. You know, you're cheating.
Yeah,
That's not you wanting to be better than somebody else.
I
it's
think.
definitely. Go ahead. I was gonna say it's definitely showing a different light of Jordan, which I mean, a lot of stuff I kind of heard about, but I never really seen all the details.
Yeah. We talk about Jordan's mentality all the time, right? Like, like the winning mentality, like relentless. But hey, you're cheating at something, so it's not that you're better than somebody else. You just cheated. Now I'm talking about with basketball, but with other things that has you question his mentality a little bit.
I mean, right? We know the guy that he supposedly got caught up with, and he was technically a witness for, right? Let's all be honest. It was a gambling thing. It wasn't a loan, but I think that's just something like he said in the documentary. He did those things, and then later he found out like, oh, this is not who I should be hanging out with.
No, I think he knew. I think he knew.
He's a grown man. He knows who he's hanging out with. And
Yeah.
first, if you don't have a gambling problem, you would have said that it wasn't a loan from the beginning. First, he said it was a loan. When he was in court, he corrected it and said it was a bet.
Yeah, because you're in court. You can't lie. That's a crime. You can
Same.
lie outside of court.
If he didn't have a problem, he wouldn't have had to lie. He had a
I
gambling
wonder. I thought I heard something. I think it was about the golf. Maybe he made that lie because in one of those states, I think when he was gambling, it was illegal. I think. I thought I read that somewhere. So maybe that's why he was lying about it too. I'm not sure.
Maybe, but I don't know.
All right, the dude was a gambler. Let's move on.
I
Oh,
think he's a competitive addict. I still don't think he's a gambler because I think he's able to bet on himself.
But no, he didn't bet on himself though. He's
You can bet
playing
on
craps.
yourself without money, bro.
I read he did rock paper scissors. He gambled $100,000 playing rock paper scissors.
Like, and he may be the best rock paper scissors player ever. I mean, what do you want from that?
The dude was
But why you gotta bet $100,000? Why do you even have to bet at all?
If that's $1 to us and that's $1 to him,
But nobody
why
bets
not?
on rock, paper, scissors like that. That's not normal. It's not normal. There's something wrong in your head when you feel like you have to bet about it.
Why is it not normal?
You're a gambling addict if you feel like you have to bet
hold on.
on every single thing.
Why is it not
Why didn't
normal?
you?
Why is it not normal if, right, you didn't grow up playing cards, right? Everybody's played, and throughout his life story, right? The thing is cards, or quarters, or dice, right? Those are games you play constantly of $1, $2, 50 cents, right?
Hey, side note, how about that quarters game where that one boy beat him? He did the shrug. He did the shrug to him. He said, "All right, that money's rolling in right into my pocket."
In that shrug he did the finals.
Yeah, that was tight.
But to my point, like, for him, maybe it wasn't an addiction.
It's a gambling product. Let's move on.
No. Let me show the addiction. That was another thing. Talking about playing cards. No, right before the United States team won gold, like there was a story out there that him, Charles Barkley, Magic, and Pippen or whatever played cards till like 6 a.m. in the morning, only got an hour of sleep that day, and then woke up and then went and won gold for the United States. I mean, they're ballers, right? But I mean, to me, that was just like they stayed up so late too, gambling.
I mean,
playing cards.
I mean, we gotta look at
Jordan.
We gotta look. No, hold on. We gotta look at the international stage, right? Dude, on a bad day, they could at that level of.
No. We understand that, but if you're staying at 6 in the morning for that thing, regardless of the level of your competition, it's not. First of all, it was disrespectful to the competition, but they weren't worth to be like you're saying they weren't worth it. They weren't up to par, anyways, right? But it's
and then they're staying up till 6 in the morning when they're playing for gold the next day, and they decide to get and play and gamble all night. You know.
For me, that just adds to their legacy. That's just like, dude, you're able to stay up all night and then go do your job and go.
No, but not. We're not talking about on the basketball standpoint. We're talking about on his personal gambling.
Yeah,
his personal life.
It adds to their basketball legacy. Yes, I'll agree. 2, it also adds to Jordan's gambling legacy. We're done with this. Let's move on.
This guy. Anyway,
speaking of the dream team, let's jump into that. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on the whole Isaiah Thomas deal came out, right? Isaiah Thomas didn't make the dream team. What, Briss, let's start with you. What do you think on that?
My first point is, and I know it's not Jordan, and I don't think it was Jordan. I want to say the main culprit of saying that Isaiah was not going to be on the team. And if you guys didn't catch this, Magic does say, hey, I'm the one that runs things around here. I'm the old guy that tells the young guys what to do. I think Magic Johnson was one of the guys that said, hey, Isaiah can't be on this team. I mean, Chuck comes out and says it just yesterday. I think it was 2 days ago that Isaiah should have been on the team. Jordan says he's the second best point guard in the league, but then nothing comes out from Magic from this point, or anything on the documentary. That's my point on this. I think he got wrongly judged, but I understand why they did it because again, Jordan did say the environment was what kept that team and made it special, and I think Isaiah would have ruined it just a little bit, but I think they would have still won gold.
Josie?
The man won 2 NBA championships, made it to the Eastern Conference playoffs other times. They're in the playoffs every year before that. He deserved to be on there. Yeah, they had their differences with Isaiah, Bird, MJ, Magic. I get that. But all of these guys, including Isaiah, had worked their entire lives for an opportunity like that. And I feel like if you're a grown man, you don't like another grown man, but you have to work with him, then you suck it up. Yeah. I mean, they could have they didn't have to hang out with him when they were over there in the Olympics.
It was kind of hard because I think most of the time was a big vacation for them for most of the hours of the day. I think they said they only practiced like 2 hours every day.
Yeah, but I'm saying they didn't have to spend the time with him. They didn't have to interact with him at that level, you know? They have to befriend him. But you don't take a man's all the hard work he put in his whole career and take him out of a game like that, take him out of an opportunity like that, if he deserves to be in there. Yeah.
To me, it wasn't Magic, okay? Because we all know Magic and Isaiah in the previous series, Magic and Isaiah had a good relationship, right? Up until the finals when they're going at it. And I think it was just that. The finals, they just didn't like each other in the finals. But I think they're still friends off the court.
Plus, Magic's like a big teddy bear. That guy, like, he's so nice.
Yeah. To me, it was MJ. MJ was the one. Who was in charge of USA basketball team right then? It was Rod Thorne.
Yeah.
Right? Who drafted Michael Jordan? Rod Thorne. All right. What did MJ say when he called him up? Say, hey, do you want to come be on this team? He said, who's all playing? And it said right there, either you bring in Isaiah or you bring in Jordan. It's like, no, I'm going to bring in Jordan. Obviously, he's the best player in the world. So, sorry, Isaiah, we're going to pick up John Stockton.
But do you think – because Chuck Daly was the coach, you don't think he had any word on that?
He might have tried to have a say, but overall, who was in charge was Rod Thorne, I think. He had more of a say in that. Plus, I mean, you're not going to bring – I mean, Isaiah's great, but you're not going to have Isaiah and then not have Jordan. I mean, I'd rather have Jordan too. I get that, but it's messed up not to bring in Isaiah.
Yeah, it's messed up because it's also messed up because Chuck Daly was the coach for that team.
That's
Chuck
what I'm saying.
Coached the bad boy Pistons. You gotta believe he's gotta have one of his guys in there. They earned it because Chuck Daly didn't earn that position for no reason. He earned that position because of those championships, of how he had performed with those teams, right? And the grit and grind they wanted to bring to the Olympics, right? His players helped with that. You got to believe at least one of his players would make it. And that
right.
The best player in their team at that time was Isaiah. He deserved to be on there. He was robbed of it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think everyone just didn't like him, his attitude. But he's a friend. He seems like throughout watching his old clips, interviews, and even now, he just has a big smile on his face. He seems like a friendly guy. But on the court, he's going to get dirty. But wouldn't you want that guy on your team? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To be a bad boy. Wouldn't you want a bad boy on your team?
I don't know.
But it's hard because right now, like,
you know he's bad boys. You're like, I'm a bad boy.
Yeah. It's hard because right now they still have that beef. Jordan and Isaiah, right? They still don't like each other. But it's like, I mean, yeah, Isaiah should just let it go. It's past in the past. You're not on the dream team, all right? Suck it up. It's over now with. But, I mean, it's messed up that I pretty much think it was Jordan's say and everything. And then you saw in the interview, their interview, Michael Jordan, he had the USA jersey on and everything. He goes, no Isaiah Thomas questions. All right?
I think that's probably because, again, the media asks questions repetitively, right? And I'm pretty sure that entire whatever span what it was before the games, they were literally probably – and when the squad came out, they were probably asking him over and over and over. I think that's why he said that during that specific interview.
Well, whoever's producing the MJ series, they highlighted it to make it look like it was MJ. So I think a lot of people know it was MJ.
Maybe. Hey, but can we talk about how in the All-Star game, we saw a little clip of somebody that we all love and we miss, and is very important to especially our generation, right? Mr. Kobe Bryant. Man, how did you guys feel about that clip?
I went and replayed those scenes over and over. I was watching it on my phone, I played it over and over again, like 3 or 4 times. Several parts when he spoke, when he played, when MJ hit that fadeaway on him. You see MJ like giving him like a little slap in the cheek after the game. It was nice. It was really nice. They dedicated that episode to him. It was really nice seeing him in there and.
I agree. It was very touchy-feely. It was real cool to see Kobe, and they actually have some tape of him talking about MJ. Speaking kind of on Kobe, but going to MJ, like how this is making MJ look. And not only that, like, when Kobe passed away, it's Mamba mentality everywhere throughout the world, right? So, I mean, but that kind of came from MJ, the mentality and everything to push to be the greatest. But Kobe took it to another level by helping all athletes everywhere. He did a lot of stuff off the court. So, and that's where Kobe, like, in a sense, like, expand or took that Jordan is really Jordan mentality, right? But it's Mamba mentality just because of a more of a public figure and how big Kobe was. I don't think that's just because when he passed away too. It was always Mamba mentality. Everybody was saying that, but I mean, it was special to see that clip on the Jordan series though.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy how this year of 2020, and then you see somebody that was just here, and now they've passed in a tragic accident. But I mean, it just shows that greatness helps greatness, in a sense that no matter what, uh, in every sport, right? We always hear that passing the torch, and I think it actually showed that scene where it's like he passed the torch and on to the next generation. Even though we're focused on the 90s, but like you get to witness that moment where it's like, hey, young fella, I'm gonna talk trash on you now, but I'm gonna see you later.
Yeah, I think it was nice seeing before the game started when MJ's talking to his teammates, and he's like that guy from the Lakers. He's gonna try to go 1-on-1 against everyone, and they're just talking about Kobe, like all those guys in the Eastern Conference. They're older.
With respect, though, they're talking about with respect. Yeah.
Respect, yeah, and it was just nice seeing that, hearing that.
And he's a 19-year-old kid at the time too, and they're giving him all of these Hall of Fame athletes right here on the All-Star team are giving this high respect, and kid's only 19 years old. Like, I mean, that to me, I mean, Kobe was my favorite player of all time. That's who I grew up watching. I wasn't even born really when Jordan came out, so I didn't really watch basketball at that point. But it was insane. I want to switch this up and talk about Jordan though. To me, these past two episodes have really shined a different light of how I see Michael Jordan, man. Like, I mean, I don't like the guy on a personal level. Like, he's a great basketball player, but on a personal level, like, man, this dude is just like the biggest jerk in the world. Like, come on now. Like, when they went to go play Tony, how do you say, Kukoc? Everybody still was saying it different. But yeah, but to take it out on him, all because Jerry Krause liked the guy and was going to bring him into the Bulls or whatever. There was a controversy how they're dealing money with him and Pippen, but like you're upset at like Krause, your boss, and you're taking it out on this guy when he has nothing to do with anything. You know what I mean? Like that was messed up.
I like it. I like it. I like that mentality right there. You know why? Because there's somebody right here next to me playing with me, right? We're on the same team. And you're gonna go and try and offer that guy money who hasn't even been in the U.S. Oh,
but he's on your team though. He's on your team.
Hey, you might not come to the team if you can't last. I'm gonna give you that work. You better earn that money. You better earn that contract. I like that mentality. I like a guy like that right now. These last two episodes have been showing me that MJ has solidified himself even more for me. I think.
I think it was selfish for them not to think about what Kukoc was actually going through. I mean, he got drafted in 1990, but he wanted to stay where he was because of the war they were going through. So he stayed there for like 2 years, I think, or 3. I don't know how long. And it was selfish for them to say, oh, who's this guy? He's supposedly on the Bulls, but hasn't been in the Bulls 2 years. And Krause really likes him. Like, I'm going to go bully this dude on the court and this and that.
That's exactly what it is. Like, they went out to bully him, and they were just worried about basketball. But this guy is at home worrying about a war, and that's why he didn't leave. Because of that loyalty and that respect out of his home country and that situation they were in. And yes, they balled his ass up in that first game, but he
not
can't.
The second one. I mean, well, they did the second one, but Kukoc came back.
Yeah, but he played well in that second game.
Yeah.
Right? And they said, like a guy like that with going through what he was going through, he just was he didn't expect them to go at him like that in that first game, because it wasn't just about basketball for them. For MJ and Pippen at that time in that game, it wasn't just about basketball. Like you said, they're trying to send a message to Jerry Krause, and
Yeah.
to and honestly, if you think this further solidifies Jordan's legacy, I think you're absolutely wrong. These last two episodes really highlight we all have flaws, you know. We're all human. We all make mistakes. But this is in a like a long period of time. This is how we behave. And not much has changed. He still has these interviews, you know. Not much has changed. Um
He's cocky.
yeah, you talk about growth and development as a player. Yeah, he did that. Growth and development as a human being and his legacy? No, not at all. He'll always be one of the greatest basketball players ever. But that's all he will be remembered for. Honestly, that's it. Um, and another thing we have to keep bringing up is like that he was honestly one of those guys that just bullied guys. And not just basketball. No.
Wait,
Listen,
okay.
from the first episode to the last episode that was played, whenever there's a clip with Jerry in it, he always demeans him. And he knows there's cameras. They're celebrating championships, and he's there, and then says there's something about a cigar. He's like, "Oh no, Jerry, like you can't have one. It's gonna stunt your growth."
He was a bully. He was a bully to Krause, man. And then,
but I'm saying, look, if you're gonna behave like that, and say that to him, like in closed doors at the practice facility. Not when there's all those cameras around you, especially after a championship, especially after Jerry brought Phil, brought Pippen, brought these other guys to help you win championships. And Jerry does deserve credit for it.
He does,
because MJ's an owner now. MJ has decisions to make his team better now, and his team sucks. The Hornets suck. They're garbage.
Chill.
They're garbage.
Hey, relax.
So I don't think at that time he understood the importance of a guy like Jerry and a visionary like him at that time. Jerry messed up, but Jerry brought in the right pieces.
He did.
MJ can't do that. He hasn't been able to do that with his own team.
But some people just, hey, that's how your relationship is. I mean, I know it looks messed up on a camera, right? And who knows? Maybe it was just joking during that time. And then last season, when Jerry comes out with all those comments saying that the organization is better, maybe it didn't turn super ugly, right? Maybe that's what the first episode tried to set up. But in that moment, I think it's just for me, it just looks like if me and the homies were all in the backyard and we're all saying jokes and right, somebody catches it on a film on Snapchat. It looks messed up, but that's how you guys connect through those times. But mind you, in the last season,
I get if he's an 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old, but he's older. He's a grown man. He's a professional athlete. Behave like one.
It wasn't a joking comment. Like they threw shade on him like that all the time, and Jerry just, he just accepted it. But I mean, to me, it's Jerry Krause's job as a GM to find talent, you know what I mean, and bring to the team. And that's what he's trying to do with Tony, and that's what he did when he made that comment when the Bulls played Charles Barkley. When he made that comment against the Suns' defensive player, he goes, "I like this guy. He's one of the best defensive guys ever." And Jordan took that disrespectful to him or whatever. And I'm like, dude, it's his job as a GM to see talent that way. Like, don't get mad.
But you gotta test that guy, do you not? You have to test that guy, right? If you're gonna say that another guy's better than the guys you already got on the team, you gotta show that. I mean, Jordan's gonna give him the business to make sure that he's gonna be the guy fit on the team that's gonna fit that style. I think that's what that is.
No, well, to me in the series, it sounded like Jordan was like a little kid, and like, I'm not saying Krause is a father figure to him, but he's like saying like, oh, like this, my father figure, or whatever, saying that he's better than me. Like I didn't like that. I'm gonna show him that I'm better than him, or whatever. And I'm like, dude, like who cares? He's a GM.
I like it, but remember, I'm different. So
yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
Honestly, it's just about what we're talking about right now. Certain topics right now about Jordan. It's not about him as a basketball player. We all know how great he is. It's about his legacy outside of basketball, and that's why I think these two episodes really highlight and tarnish his legacy. It's about integrity. It's about owning that that spotlight you have, or that power you have, or that role you have in society, because it's elevated, whether you want it to be or not. It's elevated now, and I don't think he stepped up to the plate.
I want to put it into words like this. You can't force something that you don't feel comfortable in doing, right? It's in the moment. But I think
It's
you
not.
have,
It's not about forcing. I understand he didn't want it, but that's what it led to, and he didn't step up. I understand he didn't want that. He never wanted to be a role model. That's fine. But all that power and all that celebrityness, all that spotlight is on you now. And how are you gonna act?
because can't we blame other players like that as well, right? Who else came out with the commercial saying, "Don't follow us, we're not role models"? Oh, hello, Charles Barkley. Was he not famous as well and could have made a change in the community as well?
Charles Barkley was never
Right.
renowned.
I understand he's never to that extreme of what Jordan was around the world, right? But he's still well renowned. He's still known today, right? As the guy on team.
I wouldn't say he's world renowned. I
Mm,
wouldn't say he's world renowned.
okay, but he's in the U.S., right? He can make an impact in the U.S. Can we
Yeah,
agree on that one?
yeah. But we can't compare Charles Barkley and MJ. They didn't have the same spotlight.
I would like to disagree on. I mean, I feel like all the like Kareem, right? Kareem in his day, he made a couple mistakes, and he could have been in that spotlight, right, to make change, and he felt like that wasn't his job. I mean, I think for these guys, right, in the moment, you're playing the game, that's fine. But after the game is over, when you're retired, when you hung up the boots, I mean, when you let the ball roll off the court for the last time, I think that's when you decide if you want to get into it or not. During their career, I think you just let them feel what they need to do on the game for that court to continue their basketball legacy, right? And if they choose after to just live a silent life, I think we should just let them. I mean, I think they've earned that.
Yeah, after if he wants to be quiet. I mean, because obviously there's not so much hype or media attention on him. But to me, I think he was like when he was playing, he was just selfish. To me, an endorsement deal is you making money personally off of your name. So obviously, off your name, like McDonald's, Gatorade, and them, they want you to have a good name about yourself. They kind of want you to be like a role model. They don't want you to be a bad guy out there doing things. You know what I mean? So you're signing that endorsement deal saying, hey, I'm going to be a good person. Be a role model.
So you mean to tell me that none of these McDonald's guys, Gatorade guys, Nike guys didn't know what he was doing before? I'd like to disagree with that one. Cause let's be honest, most of those guys probably knew Michael on a personal level, at least the executives on those, and they probably went to go golfing with him a couple of times. I don't know the exact facts. But
Actually, let's talk about the endorsement. Let's touch base on the Nike deal. Josie, you want to touch base on a little bit on what you think on that? The whole
Yeah. If we switch it up a little bit, Nike took a big risk, and they got a big reward out of MJ. Uh, it's personally, I like Adidas quite a bit, and I wish they would have taken MJ, and Adidas would just be, way beyond Nike at this point. We wouldn't. The cultural significance of Nike would not be as big if Adidas had taken MJ, and Adidas was bigger at the time. Nike started off as like a track shoe. It started off in Oregon, and it started off that, and MJ just helped explode Nike. But I think with that, what's so interesting to me was just like the cultural significance of Air Jordan. Uh, like basketball shoes weren't necessarily like a stylistic preference of the everyday person, and with MJ, it exploded. Everybody wanted some Jordans, so
right.
that was nice. That was nice to see the historical perspective of the shoe, and the significance. And we all know it now. Uh, There's funny sayings. It's in pop culture. Jordans are always talked about. So it's nice to see where that came from and how it developed.
What was your take on that, Briss?
Adidas, what are you doing? What are you doing? Literally, you guys. Excuse me. That's how much they choked on it. Yeah, still choking on it. Adidas, man, what are you guys doing? You guys probably had the same amount of development as Nike at the time,
They're
and
beyond Nike, bro.
huh?
They're way beyond Nike.
No, they're beyond Nike. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And you literally could have just said, "Okay, we're gonna make a shoe design for you. This is your line." And would it be as successful? I don't think so. To this day, of what Nike did with it, because like they said in the ad, Air Jordan sounded nice, right? What would we call Adidas Jordans? I don't know what they'd be called. The Addy Jordan?
It could have been Jordans. It would have still ended up being just Jordans.
But, I mean, they just took a risk, and that's your biggest reward, and they got the biggest profit out of that. I mean,
No.
now that we look at it, other shoe brands are doing that now. You see Puma, right? They're taking risk on athletes that could be potential stars, and they're putting the money towards it. Adidas is doing it.
Oh yeah, most definitely. No, yeah. The whole Nike deal, it was cool. I don't know who to give credit to, like this, towards Jordan's agent, David Folk, if he's the one that initiated to go after Nike. Well, I think we should give credit to him because he's the one that signed Jordan, and his company, they only manage like individual stars, like tennis stars and this and that. So I think, and he was the one who wanted to, and it's never been done before in the NBA. He wanted to make Jordan a big star in that way and highlight him. So I give the credit to him. And Adidas, at the time, it was a big man league. And so Adidas, I found out, Adidas rejected him because he wasn't tall enough. They wanted a tall man to represent Adidas. And the year after that, who signed with Adidas? Patrick Ewing signed with Adidas. So,
Yeah.
I mean, it made sense. Like Adidas, that's all they were looking for. That was the market they were in.
And it's crazy because MJ says that Adidas was his favorite brand at the time.
Right. And then I read that after Nike proposed their offer for Jordan, they offered him $250K when people who are doing Converse or whatever, I think they said most big stars around the league are only getting $100K for their endorsement deals. Yeah. That's what it said in the docuseries. But I read that Jordan went back to Adidas and said, hey, I really want to sign with you guys. I'd sign with you guys right now if you can match this offer with Nike. And Adidas just they didn't want to do it. They didn't want to do it, and they messed up. And another person messed up? I heard about this the other day, is Magic Johnson. When Magic first came out, Nike came to him and really wanted to do a deal with Magic, and Magic didn't want to. We all know Magic went to Converse, right? In the docuseries, they show Magic and Converse. That's the NBA shoe. But Nike was offering, I don't know how much stock, but they're offering Magic stocks in the company. Wow. So imagine if he took that and then Nike came out and picked up Jordan. Dude, Magic would be set. Magic would be making so much money right now. And he talks about that's his biggest mistake, was not taking that deal.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
That's crazy because, if you keep up with Magic now and in recent years, you'll know that Magic it really has his hands in businesses, in real estate, and different things. So he's really sad.
Probably because of that reason.
Now, Dom, you said you give credit to the agent. I give credit to his mom. His mom was the one that said, you got to get to the meeting. And he didn't want to give him an offer or a chance. I think she was just like, don't be dumb. Go give him a chance. Hear it out. If that would have never happened, we would probably never see Air Jordan.
I guess you can say, yeah, the mom pushed him into it. I mean, I think the agent would have still kind of pushed him too. I don't know. But, I mean, the agent did find him the did push him to get his own shoe brand and everything like that. So to me, I give credit to the agent. I think he deserves a lot of credit. I'm wondering if he actually got some profits off of that. Like, I don't know.
Oh, you definitely get profits off that. I think it's at least 20%.
And it blew up so big just because, like, you know, we all know MJ's rookie year, he just blew up. Like, he took the Bulls to the playoffs. Like, he just blew up. And I think that was the reason why for his sales, because, like they said, Nike only was estimated to sell 3 million by the end of his rookie contract, 4 years.
Yeah.
And in 1 year, he sold over 100 million. I'm like, dang, everybody wanted those.
Now you think of where are they all sold at? Just in the U.S. or is it worldwide or?
I don't know. Yeah, I didn't. I don't know at the time what was going on back then, right? I don't
Because
know.
like right, the sneaker world today is like literally Asia can have its own select type of shoe drop, and the U.S. has its own colorway or something like that. So just to think of like, let's just say in that day, it probably was just the U.S. for sneakers, and you sell 100 million in a year.
Right. No, yeah, guys. But to wrap it all up, this series, I don't know. I'm hoping the next 2 episodes, yeah, I'm gonna see Jordan a little bit differently. But right now, he kind of shot me down. It shot me like as a player though. It's cool. I'm seeing all the greatness that he did. He still won All-Star MVP in that retirement year. So it's cool. I don't know what your guys' final thoughts are on all these 2 episodes.
Josie, go ahead.
You can go.
He's not gonna like what I'm gonna say. That's why.
I know I'm not gonna like what you're gonna say. I know you got a disagreement on it. We talked about it.
Hey man, these last 2 episodes, like I said earlier, it solidifies for me the guy that I knew of Jordan, and it doesn't surprise me. It just like, yeah, that's the guy I like. I want to be like Mike.
Be like Mike. I want to be like Chuck when Chuck was singing it. No, no, I'm excited. Next week's episodes, guys, they're gonna be the Steve Kerr punch. I think he's supposed to come in that one. Jordan's first retirement, right? So he's gonna finally retire. Media apparently got to him. I don't know. There's conspiracies on that, but it's gonna be pretty exciting, guys. To watch the next 2 episodes. Come back, check us out. You know we're gonna talk about it. You know we're gonna get into it. Let's hope we get some more arguments. All right. That's it, everybody. Like, subscribe, follow us.
Comment.
Let's keep it going.
All right,
We're
guys.
out.
See you guys.
Peace.